Thank you very much for that presentation. I'm now going to give the floor to the Southern Mongolian Human Rights Information Center. You have the floor.
Mr. Chair, distinguished member of the forum, thank you for giving me the opportunity to raise the concerns and issues on the human rights conditions of the Mongolian people in China. As the Chinese authorities intensify their political repression, economic exploitation, cultural eradication, and environmental destruction in the Mongolian areas, the basic human rights and the fundamental freedoms of the 6 million Mongolians are completely deprived of, and their very survival as a distinct people is threatened. Here I would like to raise the following specific issues to the forum. The first is the devastating effect of mining, land grabbing, and environmental destruction by the Chinese in Mongolian rural communities. As the Chinese central government announced that the Mongolian regions have become the largest energy base of China, Chinese extractive industries are rushing to the Mongolian grassland to open up coal, gas, oil, and other minerals, not only destroying the natural environment, but also escalating the tension between the Chinese and Mongolians. Violent clashes are taking place on a daily basis. Defending the interest of the Chinese authorities are using excessive forces.
There is a point of order. There is a point of order.
Yes. Many herders, Mongolian herders who defended their
There is a point of order.
have been assaulted, arrested, detained, and sent to jail.
There is a point of order. I cannot see from here. Who is raising the point of order? It is China. The distinguished representative of China is making a point of order. You have the floor.
Mr. Chair, the speaker is talking about Mongolian and Mongolian people in China. They are actually, it's obviously a separatist discourse. China is a unified, multi-ethnic country, and we pursue ethnic equality and ethnic solidarity, unity. The Forum on Minority Issues is a UN forum and must abide by the UN Charter and its purposes and principles, and respect states' parties' sovereignty and territorial integrity. China would like to reiterate that the autonomous region of Mongolia in China is an inalienable part of the Chinese territory, and we are against separatist elements using this forum to make discourse on separatism to separate our country. It is obvious that this has infringed on China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. China would like to request the chairman to rule that the speaker stopped this discourse. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
First of all, is there another point of order? Venezuela. The distinguished representative of Venezuela has the floor. Please. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Venezuela would like to express its support for the statement by China. In this context, we think it's an important opportunity, and it cannot be used to further political agendas launching attacks against sovereign states, which are unacceptable and undermine the goals we seek in this forum. Whereas we support free expression of ideas and participation by civil society organizations which make valuable contributions in the spirit of cooperation and working together, which is characteristic of such mechanisms as this one. We cannot agree with speakers who use inappropriate language and with states members which are not being treated with appropriate respect. I would ask the chairman to call the speaker to order and to address the item under consideration. Chairman, thank you, Venezuela. There is another point of order raised by the distinguished delegation of Austria. I now call upon the delegation of Austria.
Mr. Chair, my delegation attaches high importance to the voice of civil society being heard. We believe that the presentation of concrete examples of human rights violations under this item is legitimate. States that would disagree with the content of the intervention may use the right of reply. We therefore would ask you to let the speaker continue with his statement.
Muchas gracias, señor. Muchas gracias, señor representante.
Thank you very much, distinguished representative of Austria. I now recognize the distinguished delegation of Pakistan. Pakistan has the floor.
Thank you, Chairperson. My delegation supports the point of order raised by China. We highly value the participation of NGOs, but they should abide by the principles and purposes of the UN Charter. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. I now call on the distinguished delegation of Pakistan.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente.
Cuba. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In line with what has been said by our colleagues, we would like there to be compliance with the rules of this forum. And first and foremost, we'd like a clarification from you concerning the subject that is under discussion at this point. I've understood that it says on the screen the situation of minorities in situations of humanitarian crises. I would like everyone to focus on this issue and for us to debate this. There is a set of recommendations that have been well drafted and a very good report from the Special Rapporteur, and digressing from this in this forum would be counterproductive for achieving the objectives we have set for ourselves. We would request that you urge speakers, not only the speaker that was just speaking now, but all speakers, to refer explicitly to the issue of minorities in situations of humanitarian crises, which is the subject before this forum at this point in time. Thank you very much, distinguished representative of Cuba. I now call upon the distinguished delegation of Libya. Libya has the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The issues of minorities are very noble, and it carries a noble message. So we urge and we plead representatives of minorities to somehow refrain from being used and misused by hidden agenda aiming at dismantling the core of the United Nations, which is the state, and be away from the language of separatists. This is a noble cause, and it has to carry a noble message. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much. Representative of Libya, I now call upon the United States of America.
Mr. Chairman, the United States supports the ability of NGOs to express their concerns in this open forum and lends our support to the statement of Austria.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much for your statement. I now give the floor to the distinguished delegation of Russia. Russia has the floor. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Like other delegations that have already spoken, we believe that the statement by this NGO is a politicized statement, and it is counterproductive and is not such as to foster the smooth conduct of discussions and debates on this issue. In this connection, we support the statements by the distinguished delegation of China and would appeal to you to ask this NGO to speak with full respect for the principles and goals of the United Nations Charter. Thank you very much.
Once more. Sí, tal vez si no se escuchó.
Perhaps you hadn't heard, but I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of the United Kingdom.
Thank you, Mr. President. The UK finds it important to respect the right of NGOs to take the floor and express their views, irrespective of our position concerning the substance of the statement. NGO inputs enrich the human rights dialogue, and we believe that statements should not be interrupted because an NGO mentions concrete examples of human rights violations. Thank you, Mr. President.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Representative of the United Kingdom, I will now give the floor to the distinguished delegation of Mauritania. Mauritania has the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Mr. Chairperson, I have taken the floor to support the point of order put forward by China, which I think is constructive in its spirit. As you know, and you set this out very eloquently at the beginning, this forum is a platform for dialogue, and for it to deserve that name and that description, it should confine itself to the spirit prevailing in it, the spirit of positive development with a view to finding solutions to the vital issues involved. So it is important for it to remain in compliance and in alignment with the United Nations Charter and with the constructive spirit that we hold dear. It should not be transformed into a battlefield aimed at fueling support for other endeavors that are not in compliance with this constructive spirit, which we are deeply devoted to. Thank you very much.
Gracias, señor.
Thank you, distinguished representative of Mauritania. We will now give the floor to the distinguished delegation of Norway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My delegation finds it important to respect the right of NGOs to take the floor and express their views, like others have said here before, and we align ourselves with the statement by Austria, the United States and the United Kingdom. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, señor.
Thank you very much. Representative of Norway, I now give the floor to the distinguished delegation of Canada.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It is essential to respect this forum's emphasis on open dialogue. In this vein, Canada lent its support to the statement by the distinguished Australian delegate. I thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Canada, I now give the floor to the distinguished delegation of Syria. Syria.
شكرا السيد الرئيس.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I would like to join my voice to what was said by the delegation of China, I would like to stress that we are all convinced here that NGOs are an integral component of this forum. We have come forward to hear from them, but we do not want this forum to be transformed into a place for statements that threaten territorial sovereignty and integrity. We're all against that. From the point of view of procedure, I would like to ask for a clarification from the chairperson. Would it be possible to exercise a right of reply at the end of each meeting? Or would we simply have to refer at the end of the discussions on each item to those rights of reply? Thank you very much.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. The rules of procedure indicate that we have time allotted to presentations by different organizations separate from what the panelists have said. So there is not an infinite time for rights of reply. We can only do so during the allotted time, and we have to stick to the rules of procedure when doing so. We should remember that we cannot always strictly comply. I can't see who's asking for the floor. I do apologize. It's sometimes difficult to see who is asking for the floor. I give the floor to the distinguished delegation of Iran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. My delegation would like to support the point of order that was made by the delegation of China, and we would like to emphasize on the necessity to respect the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the states as enshrined in the Charter of the United Nations. This is not the matter of being open or not for all the people that are gathered here in this minority to express themselves. This is the matter of respecting the sovereignty of the states. Thank you.
Muy bien. Muchísimas.
Very well. Thank you very much indeed to all those who have taken the floor. Before moving on, I wish to make clear that this is a platform for dialogue. This is what this forum is intended for. We need to engage in constructive dialogue. All participants, regardless of who they are representing, needs to be respectful to other participants, all other participants, and to limit themselves to the topics for which this forum has been set up. Bearing in mind this point, which I must stress once again, I would like to give the floor once again to the Southern Mongolian Human Rights Information Center, but only will I allow them to conclude within the minute remaining. If that organization restricts itself to the topics that have been previously set out for discussion at this forum, and that all respect be shown to both member states and all other participants. On that basis, for 1 minute, you have the floor to conclude your statement, provided that you adopt these procedures and ground rules. Thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you for allowing me to continue my statement. The Mongolians who maintained their pastoralist way of life for thousands of years are now forced by the Chinese authorities to give up their traditional lifestyle and move to agricultural and urban areas to give way to the Chinese encroachment. As a result of large-scale, unregulated mining, resource extraction, and uncontrolled agricultural practice by the Chinese, Mongolian grassland ecosystem has been seriously destroyed. Lakes and rivers are dried up. Underground water is depleted. Air and water are heavily polluted. The Mongolian herders who have been kicked out of their land have become landless and homeless on their own land. The second issue I would like to raised to the forum is the extrajudicial detention of the Mongolian dissident and activist. Mr. Hada, who demanded the genuine autonomy in accordance with the Chinese laws, is still being held under a form of house arrest after completing a 15-year imprisonment and 4-year extrajudicial detention. We urge the Chinese government to respect basic human rights and fundamental freedom of the Mongolian people in accordance with the United Nations Convention and universally accepted human rights standard. Thank you.